today we'll be talking about the customer avatar. Now, this is a concept that's incredibly important to the copywriting business. It's also known as the target audience, the customer profile, the segmentation or the customer segment. There's lots of different names for it, but in essence, what it means is who are we talking to? Who are we writing for? And the more specific you can be about that target audience, the better. Because when you're writing, if you can really picture this person, if you can almost imagine them sitting opposite you at a desk and you're talking to them, having a conversation, that enables you to write really clearly, specifically, concrete, so that it becomes a conversation rather than this abstract sort of generic approach. So other than knowing what you're selling and the actual product that you're promoting, I'd say the next most important thing is this customer avatar. And here's the thing, the client may not even know who their customer avatar is. So you can't assume that they will know that. And you have to gently guide them into helping you understand who that person might be. There might be multiple avatars as well, and that's a challenge. So I'll talk more about that a bit later. But first up, let's talk about the customer avatar. Why do we have it? Well, if you write for an amorphous group, it's unlikely to connect with them. But if you can write for someone where they actually see their needs and their problems replicated on the page, they're instantly going to gravitate to that and say, that's me, that's my world, and you've got a solution for me. So they're more likely to read it. And the only way we can create that, what I call the truth, is by understanding that target market and then walking a mile in their shoes and really truly understanding what their needs and concerns are. So I've got a document that you'll see in the resource section called the customer avatar. So I'd like you to access that when you're ready, and I'll be using that as the guide for this particular video. But in a sense, what it is you say to the customer, well, based on we know what we're selling, the product, etc., or the service, who are we talking to? And they could very well say, I have no idea. So you take them through this process. So first up, you say, I know you don't know, just to affirm that they're okay and they're not, not negligent and not knowing this. I know you don't know. And what would it be like if we could maybe brainstorm this together? It doesn't have to be correct. It's not a science, but let's just come up with some ideas so that we're narrowing it down so we understand who that audience might be. So and they say, yes, that's fine. So you sort of kick off and say, okay, based on this product that we're selling, this specific product, not the entire company, that's important. You can't sell the entire company in an ad other than branding. We're actually talking about, direct response at this point. Other than, if this is a product we're selling, who mainly buys this? And generally they'll have an idea. Even if they're brand new, they'll have an idea of who they think should buy it. They'll say, is it men or women? Okay, big picture stuff. It's women. Great. And then you move on to the next one. So where do they live? And they say, they live in Sydney. I said, that's good, but can we be more specific? What suburb of Sydney would it be? And they said, I've got no idea. I said, let's make it up. Where do you think they might live? They said, they might live in Newtown. Great. How old would this person be? And they say, between 30 and 60. So can we be more specific? Okay, 30 to 50. No, more specific. I want a number. So, okay, they're 33. Great. And what kind of income have they got? Well, they're on about 80 grand. Okay, good. Are they working full-time, part-time? They're full-time. What do they do? Well, they're an occupational therapist, let's just say. Great. So now we know their title. And therefore you'll say, well, what kind of, books do they read? And you'll say, well, they might read Brené Brown, let's just say. Great. What was the last TV or Netflix show that they watched? It was probably Fleabag, right? What kind of platforms are they on? Well, Facebook and Insta. Great. And here's the critical question coming up. Okay, this is the piece de resistance. What is the problem that you solve for this particular person? So let's say this woman is an occupational therapist, and let's say that and she owns her own business, and you provide coaching services to the occupational therapist to help them build their business, let's just say. So the problem you solve is that she hasn't got enough clients. She works 15 hours a day. She doesn't get to see her family. So she's really stressed because she's not making enough money. So as a coach, you help them solve all those issues. So right there, just in identifying what the problem is that you solve for this woman, you've got the basis for your copy. So as a coach, we help occupational therapists build their businesses, help them find clients, make more money, get home to their family so that they can sleep well at night and have the lifestyle that they dreamt of, running their own business. So I'm making this all up on the spot, but you can see just through going through this process of understanding who is the target audience, what are their needs, and how does your product fit into that, you're more likely to be able to write copy that connects. And even just giving this woman a name, who would you call her? What would be the name? The name Amy comes to me. And then you might start getting more detailed. What does she believe about the climate change? Does she have tattoos? What kind of magazines would she read? What events would she go to on a weekend? Has she got children? Is she married, single, divorced, gay, whatever it might be? So you can start to build up this really strong picture of this Amy. And therefore, when you write copy, you think, it's for Amy. I'm writing to this woman. And you think of someone in your life who is like her so that you feel like you're having a conversation. So that would be called avatar number 1. Now, there might be avatar number 2. It could be completely different target audience, but you go through the exact same process with that client. So when it comes to writing copy, if you can come up with those avatars and then write the copy for that particular person, the client might say, but it's got to attract everybody. You say, great, but let's just start with the one person. Get that right, get that really clear. And then around the edges, you can accommodate the other target markets who might be interested. So that way you can sort of be something to somebody, but also a little bit to others. Now, that's not ideal. You want to be able to have different pieces for different people, different needs. But often the clients don't want that. So that's just a little bit of a hack, that you can just write for this group and then insert a few little benefits and features around the edges for the other people. So this is the customer avatar. It's incredibly important. And the other reason it's important is because when you write copy and you present it, let's say the client says, it's not quite what I thought, right? They don't like it for some reason, which is common. Don't get perturbed. It's really common. Then you say, okay, and first up, don't get upset and go, what? What do you mean? I spent hours on this. I've been researching this for days. No, none of that. You go, I see. I understand. Let's work through that. Okay, so it's about building the rapport and making them feel okay about giving you negative feedback. And then you say, okay, let's work through the brief because we can fix everything. And that's a really lovely line clients love to hear. We can fix everything. Even if you don't know how to do it, we can fix everything. So you go back and you say, let's look at the target market. Now, we agreed, okay, so you know that we're on the same page. We agreed that it was Amy and this was, her demographic and her psychographic. Maybe we're off track a bit. Maybe she's a little more formal. Maybe she's a little older. Maybe she's got some different needs. So you actually look through the customer avatar to see where did we go off track? Not where did you go wrong? I said, where did we go off track? So that you bring the client into the discussion as well. So there's a couple of tips on how you can use the customer avatar to firstly make writing easier, to get the client thinking about who they're actually wanting to connect with, and also use it as an opportunity to correct the feedback if it's not going your way at the end of the discussion. I hope that's helpful.